How are you today? Good, good. So, we are going to review the 14 breath pattern that changes the light in your aura today. The chakras that we worked on yesterday are the particle accelerators of your light body, which is the way electromagnetic energy vibrates within your space and your body. And every layer of your aura corresponds to one of those chakras, so that kind of makes sense. And we're not going to get into the details about the layers and the connections to the chakras today. We're just going to go for an overall flush. And the couple things we'll be working with is the pineal gland, when it's activating because you are using it to imagine things, has 6 magnetic lines that are what gives you your spidey sense, what gives you your intuition and your connection maybe between your analytical reasoning brain and your gut. You'll use those 6 magnetic feelers, but they're kind of shut down when our pineal glands aren't working. So one of the things we do is we use some imagery and some breath and eye motion and mantras with your hand to fire those 6 lines up. And then we open up a prana tube, which goes from the crown of your head to the crown of your pelvis and all the way through your spine. And in this case, the energy of that kind of creates your torus, which means like the earth has a magnetic field that goes around it and comes back down and through the middle and can be reversed through the center column. That's your prana tube for your life force to come in through the universe, to especially in this way that we're doing it in a big flush. In our case today, the prana tube is going to take the universal energy field and pull it both directions at once, and it's going to meet in your navel. So then we take when the energy meets here, it creates a little light ball in your gut that gets bigger over a few breaths as you continue to pour one way, or 2 ways, comes in 2 ways, but it keeps going the same way, whether you're breathing in or out. And then at a certain point, which is the second half of breath 10, we do this trick where we resist. We try to blow out and we resist it a little bit to create some force. So we breathe in and we breathe out and resist it and then let go. Try it a couple times. Breathe in. Get ready to resist as you blow out and then let go. It's kind of fun. So on breath 10, you do that. You breathe in and you take this light ball you've created and you do that breath on the exhale, that resistance breath, and that blows up the energy of that light ball into kind of a golden shell around your aura that creates a new aura, like your old aura popped and this new one took its place. And in the meantime, the energy field that keeps coming from both directions here and made a little light ball is now a bigger opening, like a fire hydrant hose. And you are now filling that larger space with the fresh energy from the universal energy field from below you and above you for a few breaths while we breathe in. And then at the end of the exercise, we take the connection we have to our gut that fed this whole thing and we move it to our hearts. And then, like, just even talking through that, I've done it so many times in terms of the mechanics of it. Now let's just get to the steps. The first 6 breaths correspond with finger moves. This is breath 1 in and out, breath 2 in and out, breath 3 in and out, breath 4, breath 5, breath 6. Corresponding with the 6 lines we are going to fire up in our pineal gland. And what you have to do, I'm not going to give you the imagery for this yet. I'm just going to give you the mechanics, which is to take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and then you hold your breath while you look slightly down and in, and then slightly up and in. And what I mean is you're not fully cross-eyed, but you are pushing. There's sort of a little tension you can get with your eyes, down and in, up and in, and then pulse. It's kind of weird, but you'll get used to it. Down and in, up and in, pulse. Did you see it? It was kind of quick. You can do it with your eyes closed or open. It's down and in, like you're looking at a fly on your nose. Up and in, pulse. So we do that in and out, hold your breath, down and in, up and in, pulse on each of those 6 ones. When we get to the 7th breath, we go to this hand move and we just let our hands be. And we just breathe in and out, opening the prana tubes and making that light ball grow until it gets brighter and bigger, as I explain as we go along, and then it turns gold. And when it turns bright gold, that's when it's ready to pop, and you pop it with that second half of breath 10's exhale. With one of those. And then that gets rid of your aura currently and starts you fresh, but now you have to fill that aura with more. You open up the flood tide of energy that comes from the universal energy field. Now I want to talk about that flow that comes in. There is something that you can do to see the universal energy field, and it's called scrying with your eyes. The trick is to not change your focus, to pick a spot in the sky or by some trees, you know, kind of in a natural setting, and you defocus your eyes by gazing at one spot so long that you start to see floaters in your eyes. You start to see sort of a translucent reality more than you do the actual thing that you're looking at. And part of that reality, besides floaters in your eyes, is these little tiny balls that have sometimes a white circle in the middle that's large, and sometimes it's small, but there's always sort of an outline of the ball and then an inside of the ball that you can see. And sometimes they're just little specks, and sometimes they're quite heavy. You can see them a ton better when you're not in the city, and you'll notice they're heavier in certain kind of solar weather kind of situations, in certain kind of storm and cloudy, and on a bright, high pressure blue sky day, they look completely different than they do on a low pressure muddy day. So, you know, size and shape, and they move separately. They're not the floaters in your eyes, because those things kind of float, and these things go. These things move in and out. They disappear. If you try to look at them, you chase them off your field of sight. They float. And when we're talking about filling your fetal light object or moving through you, the energy field, it is in those little floating balls. So it's something between the flow of water and a flow of an avalanche of mass like dirt. But it's really not dirt, it's something translucent, and so that's what's moving through you. So we get to the point where we've blown up the shell, we're filling it up, the aura. We have breaths 11, 12, and 13 to completely fill your aura can go quite a ways around you. So just kind of picture it around your body, fill it in like fire hose. You're just spraying the whole thing down. And while you do that, the best thing to do is to concentrate on a triangle that is the top of it's your third eye and the bottom of it's your 2 hands, and stabilize the whole thing. You're like a little, when you blow that eggshell aura up, it's like a calf being born that needs to walk, and you need to just stabilize the whole thing. And by breath 14, we change our hands to this mudra stacked on top of each other. We grab the connection in our bellies and we move it to our hearts. That's all we're going to do today. I will talk you through it. There's a lot more to this, and I'm setting you up to be familiar with the mechanics of some really cool stuff. So it's worth it to take your time and practice it at this basic level of just learning the moves. We're changing the light in our aura. 14 breaths. Let's just take a couple warm-up breaths, which is to breathe in hard for 4 counts and breathe out slow for 16, and then out slow for 24. We'll do one of each of those and then we'll start. Here we go. Breathe in for 4 and out for 16. 11, 15, 16. Now we're going to do 24. Push it out. Breathe in. Hard and fast, and now breathe out slow. 11, 16, 21, 22, 23, 24. Good. All right, just breathe in naturally for a second, and here we go. Thumb and first finger, we're going to breathe in, breathe out, hold your breath, look down and in, up and in, pulse. Next finger against your thumb. In, out, go down and in, up and in, pulse. Ring finger and thumb together. Breathe in, breathe out. Down and in, up and in, pulse. Pinky and thumb. And breathe out. Down and in, up and in, pulse. First finger and thumb again, breathe in. And breathe out. Down and in, look up and in, pulse. Last one, middle finger and thumb together. And breathe out. Look down and in, up and in, pulse. Now turn on the jets to open up your pipeline. Put your two fingers together and breathe in on 7, watching the universal energy field. Gather in your navel and pop out a little ball of light. Right there in front of your navel. Let it keep pouring into that as you breathe in and out. Here you go, breath 8. The ball gets bigger and a little brighter. Keep it growing, and the energy balls keep flowing in from both directions, meeting at your navel, making a ball of light. Breath 9, it reaches its largest size. You are literally pregnant with your own new ball of light from the universal energy field. Now on breath in of 10, it turns from white to gold. And it's so big, you're gonna pop it with a resistance breath. Woo! Okay, so it keeps pouring in. You're gonna hold on to the triangle with the base at your either hand and the peak of it at your forehead while you take a fire hose of universal energy field coming through your prana tube and you hose that sucker down. Breath 12. Systematically do all sides of it, above you, below you. Just hit that thing like you would mow a lawn. Just open up, just pour, the energy pours through you from the universe, out your navel, has a fire hose attached and is filling up the giant aura while you hold the thing stable with a triangle that is inside this giant circle. Breath 13. Make sure you've covered the whole thing. As far as any spots you missed, filling up and stiffening, making a nice taut aura of clean energy in it, and you're in the middle holding your triangle. Now you take your hands and you grab the connection at your gut and you move it to your heart with the breath. And you have just changed the light in your aura. And just enjoy feeling no conflict. You are at one with the law of one, with complete universal love and gratitude. What you can do is go through that triangle to your fourth dimensional astral plane. And what mine feels like lately is a canyon that I'm flying through. There's one color giant cliff rocks on the right, and there's another color giant cliff. They're two totally different universes. And I'm in the middle of this deep, I think a lot about General Byrd flying through the Antarctic in the 40s and the 50s. What it would be like to fly a plane into Middle Earth. This isn't Middle Earth. This is just our political environment. And while it feels like it's smothering us, I tell you, the middle is empty. It's just there. It's a wide open plain. I'm doing loops and twists in my astral body, flying through this territory, just going, whippy, where's everybody? And there's just so much on either side of that divide that doesn't look inviting, that isn't helpful to any of us in our connection to our soul. I'm not anti-political, but I think you have to spend time being anti-political in your day just to balance it. So I'm riding through this canyon, empty, 2 different colors, and it feels so free. We're going to stop there today because I talked so much in the beginning. I can't wait to go further with you, but I want to catch people up and I want to keep this for beginners. So have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow.